never underestimate the power of your contacts and your network.
Your network, definitely, and also your creativity, because sometimes, like, I really resonated with me what you just mentioned about, this offer or this exercise, this practice that I was tested for is the one that you were least invested in, and it still had a great result because it gave you the job, it got you the job. So creativity is very subjective. What sometimes ourselves as creatives think that is not a perfect finish, that is not in our liking, maybe it's perfect for someone else.
Now that I'm professor in the university and I'm teaching the prospect students, prospect designers, how to create their work, I always see them struggle because they see the same display or the same screen for hours, don't knowing what to do. And I say, you just have to follow the process. It's like you should do this, and you will see that even when you don't like it, even when you are not completely sure what you're doing, at the end you will have a good enough result that will give you a solution for the client you're having or for the problem you're having. That maybe if you don't like it, you can see it again. I don't like it. Okay, at least you already have something that you don't like, and you can start again doing something that you will do. So the biggest villain to our process is not doing nothing.
And then, of course, feedback. I feel like we underestimate that a lot. And as creatives, it's very important because there's a counterpart to it, which is our ego. I have to admit that sometimes when we're young, when we're new to things, and we have to be creative, we're very protective of our creativity, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to listen to feedback and change things that need to be changed for them to work for a broader audience, and feedback doesn't always sound so nice. So I would say also like have that patience and have that receptiveness to be able to listen to things that maybe are not to our liking at the beginning, but even that can spike our creativity. Like once we let that sink in, we can look at that Canva of whatever we're doing and reshape it so that it has an even better result.
Welcome to the Hard Hot Podcast, your go to guide for mastering remote work and advancing your career.
Whether you're in Latin America or anywhere in the world, we're here to equip you with tools and insights you need to thrive in today's job market.
I am Jess Torres.
And I am Gabby Morales. Let's dive in and unlock the endless possibilities of remote work.
So, Santiago, welcome to the Hard Hop. How are you today?
Hey Gabby, hey Jess. I'm very good. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm eager to tell you everything I have known for these years and starting to tell everybody also how can they improve their all their skills to thrive in this remote environment.
Great. Before that we get started, can you tell us a little bit about your work?
Well, basically, I started as a typical graphic designer. I started in 2017. And I was a little naive designer with thinking that design was going to change the world, like those little dreams we usually have when we are just graduating and we think, oh, my drawings are going to save the world and we are going to stop the hungry and the wars and everything because we are a good designer. And then we just stuck into the first world that is called corporate working.
Yeah.
Then I worked until 2021 with Cali Fair, that is our biggest celebration in our city. Also because my graduation project was based about the Carnival of Barranquilla. So basically, even when I am not a very dancer and a happy person, the celebrations around the cultures has always given me some story and impact on my designs. It's like people have
Inspires you.
a what?
It inspires you.
Yeah, totally. It's like a cultural shock. It's like I don't understand why the rest of the people is happy, but they all gather together around 2, 3, 4 days to celebrate something, and I just wanted to understand what was that something. So that took me to all these places around these celebrations, and in 2020, I also finished my digital strategy communication specialization. This is too many Asians, and basically I was the only one left on the company, and I had to manage myself to create the strategy and all the processes for imagine yourself a carnival being remote.
It's a big challenge.
It's a big fucking challenge. Sorry, can I say that word?
No. So you can correct it. It's a big challenge.
It's a, it was a
It's a big
really
freaking challenge.
It was a really, really big challenge. After the pandemic, creating a celebration that is for over 2 million people and have to do it remote, and also you are doing it with the taxes of the people that is suffering. Imagine yourself, the
Responsibility.
not only the responsibility, but also all the people and all these voices around saying that you shouldn't be wasting
pressure.
this money, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that.
I
But
remember that.
all the people was not knowing the real cause of doing it. It's like there were some politicals that were saying like what we should do with the money is to give it to the less to the most, I don't know, poor people or the ones that have suffered the most. But then those who have suffered the most were the artists and the entertainment people and all these industries around the creatives were surrounded by, I don't want the money alone, I want to do what I like. It's like they wanted to feel important, they wanted to feel that they deserve that money, not only to be given. So it was a complete process. We had a lot of support from the artists. And then in 2021, many political problems came out, and I said, I cannot handle this anymore. I was searching for a solution, and many of the industries and agencies and companies in the local area weren't paying enough. So I say, well, let's see what is out there. And I started looking in LinkedIn, sending CVs one after the other, until one day, the one I wanted the less, and I gave, let's say, my less effort in the test, was the one that the recruiters loved the most. Why? I don't know. I was in this edge of, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore. We just accept that, I don't know, this was not a possible dream. And then the last day, I received a call in the middle of the work. Hey, we like your CV. We are searching for someone that do this and this and this. Have you ever worked in packaging? And I say, yes, like over a year. They say, oh, that's great. Can you do this test for me? I need you to do it in less than 4 hours. And I was like, wait, I'm at work. Give me a second. And I told her that I could do it after 8 p.m. So it was a long night. I put myself into it. I was just like letting myself go. And the next day they were saying like, we like it, the client like it, or CEO like it, we have a call. And it was like, shit, this is too fast. I wasn't expecting at all that solution. And then I started working with her remotely. And and it was a really, really, really good experience. I learned a lot from everybody. And then after a year, I thought it was time to move on. I was searching to start working in UX, and since I was in the Cali Fair, I was studying UX, and I was working on that, and I was kind of crafting my own practices and my own stuff. And then while I was working with this kind of hire remotely, I was improving until one day I just got that other call like, hey, we like your work, we need someone like you, can you join us? And I started shifting again. So that was, I started working in UX, and then at the university, the director of design, kind of by chance, I know it's not exactly by chance, because I knew something was gonna work. My first job, I got it because I went to this conference, at the university, and I spoke to one of the professors, and I told him, hey, I'm looking for a job, and he told me, hey, we have this guy who was searching for someone who has a job, networking, basically. And I was in the same state, and I went with a friend that she was going to give the conference, she was going to be the speaker, and I spoke again with the director, and he said, hey, you are doing UX, and I need a UX professor. Would you like to join us? And again, just like that, I was having another job. And yeah, that has been me. It's like, never underestimate the power of your contacts and your network.
Your network, definitely. And also your creativity, because sometimes, like, I really resonated with me what you just mentioned about, this offer or this exercise, this practice that I was tested for is the one that you were least invested in, and it still had a great result because it gave you the job, it got you the job. So creativity is very subjective. What sometimes ourselves as creatives think that is not a perfect finish, that is not in our liking, maybe it's perfect for someone else. So it's a very subjective skill, and I feel like that gives us a great foot to start the conversation for today, which is, the role of creativity in shaping your remote work success. I would start off by saying that creativity is a skill that is often underestimated in remote work, but crucial for standing out, which we can just exemplify with your story. So Santiago, you've blended creativity with strategy throughout your career, like you've mentioned. How does that combination change your approach as a UX UI designer?
That's an excellent question. Basically, I believe it didn't change. It was just like I fit it like a glove. It's like I was a designer, but I was always a logic designer. When I wanted to start switching to UX, it was like, okay, let's recap. I need to do a research. I need to understand my user pains. I need to test and evaluate what I'm doing. and then I'm giving a graphic solution to impact the users. This sounds like a design, like a strategic design that is fueled by creativity. So when I was switching to UX, I felt like it was meant to be. And how to do it? Basically, methodology. Now that I'm professor in the university and I'm teaching the prospect students, prospect designers, how to create their work, I always see them struggle because they see the same display or the same screen for hours, don't knowing what to do. And I say, you just have to follow the process. It's like you should do this, and you will see that even when you don't like it, even when you are not completely sure what you're doing, at the end you will have a good enough result that will give you a solution for the client you're having or for the problem you're having, that maybe if you don't like it, you can see it again. I don't like it. Okay, at least you already have something that you don't like, and you can start again doing something that you will do. So the biggest villain to our process is not doing nothing.
No, I remember this, and I studied design for a short time, and I studied writing for a long time. And what they would tell us in both cases is that you have to do it every day, you have to do it constantly, and inspiration and creativity will eventually come in. And it's like what you're saying, like if you follow all the steps, you'll eventually have a result that's, that's fitting or that's promising, and then based on that, you can explode your creativity and you can improve it moving forward. But you have to do something. So it's definitely not about just thinking and waiting for creativity to come to start something.
How can remote professionals harness this creativity thinking to boost their careers? Like, yeah, how can they do that?
Well, basically, there are many methodologies, and in UX, we have been thought in one that is based on uh, human-centered design. What is that?
Okay.
Basically, is first understand the problem, then you just draft something, you just write down like, okay, I have this client, I have this user, what is happening with him? And you start writing down, you say, no, he's suffering from this, he may start using this because of that. And you can basically you could use storytelling to understand the problem. So a situation that usually happens is that Neki stops working in Colombia just when you need it the most.
Okay.
What could be a solution? Or what could be a situation? So I happened to be within a shoe store, like 3 months ago, and a woman was paying with her digital card from Neki, and she just put it in the counter, and the money was sent, and then the system logged out, and then it was like the money is not even in her pocket, but is not yet in the store, so she lost her money, but is not paid the shoes. So you have a completely complex situation here, and you could do that. You could use that as a story to start thinking in your solutions. Another solution, or another thing, could be you are waiting for the bus, and you are in the middle of the street. What can suddenly happen there? I don't know. You accidentally made an old woman that wants to cross the street. You accidentally see an announcement of a wedding dress in the back side of a window from a car. I don't know. So all these stories allows you to understand, to get some creative ideas based on the problems that you're trying to solve. So that's what I meant about strategic thinking with creative solutions. The methodology basically is design thinking. You understand the user problems, you start drafting some ideas, you start prototyping, you select one or two that you kind of like it, and you say, okay, this, I don't hate it. And as I usually say to my students, that's okay, but that needs a little bit of love. So keep working on that. So you keep working on that, you finalize the design, and then you test it. And a simple test could be something as easy as I will text my best friend that is also a designer, and we'll ask him, hey, I'm doing this, what do you think? Something just like that. And he will tell you, based on my experience, I like this because this is good, blah, blah, blah. And I don't like this color because this color is meant to represent this and these people won't like it. For example, here in Cali, we cannot use only green or only red because now we are dividing the half of the city.
Yeah.
And or maybe he will tell you, no, I understand this, but you could improve this typography, or you could improve this because it has low accessibility and it doesn't have enough contrast. And you could start improving your design by just showing to a friend. Now, that's not testing exactly, but that will help you to improve your process. And then if you are struggling, you can just say, hey, I have this problem. It happened to happen that to me like 1 month ago. I was having like a freelance job of UX, and I asked my project manager, hey, I have this struggle, I have this situation, I have this project, I believe this works like this, and this and that, and I have seen these problems. How do you think I can solve it? And he just sent me one screenshot of another app, and I said, that's it. That's all I need. I was thinking so much in the problem that I was getting out of sight of the solution that I was needing. The other person just gave me that solution. I said, this is it. And based on that, I could start again my solution and my design. So first of all, start doing it, follow the process, ask your friends, but never, ever, ever let your blank paper scare you of starting.
Awesome. That's great advice. Great advice. And it's perfect because you mentioned there, like, leveraging from diverse experiences, like looking at the pain points that people have for whatever you're selling, because working in corporate is that you're always selling something. And even if you're working for yourself, you're still selling something. You're selling an image, you're selling a brand, you're selling a service, a product. So look at that, look at the pain points that come from that, and see what stories you can create and how you can answer through design to the clients, to the target's needs, right? And then of course feedback. I feel like we underestimate that a lot, and as creatives it's very important because there's a counterpart to it, which is our ego. I have to admit that sometimes when we're young, when we're new to things and we have to be creative, we're very protective of our creativity, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to listen to feedback and change the things that need to be changed for them to work for a broader audience, and feedback doesn't always sound so nice. So I would say also like have that patience, and have that receptiveness to be able to listen to things that maybe are not to our liking at the beginning, but even that can spike our creativity. Like once we let that sink in, we can look at that Canva of whatever we're doing and reshape it so that it has an even better result.
Yeah, I wanted to touch base again on feedback.
Okay.
Because no over 2 weeks ago, I was working on another project, and one of the other designers was so protective with their designs that was speeding down the production because she didn't want to show the processes, and it's not wrong because she was doing a very, very great job, but sometimes the feedback, just receiving it, can speed up things. I mean, you don't have to change everything. Maybe you just have to listen. So in that process, when you start being protective and when you don't want people to give you feedback, it starts a kind of war and a struggle when neither of the parts is going to be happy, and some of them will have to keep away the problem. So I don't know. It's like
You don't get
feedback is
into a
important.
solution. Yeah.
It becomes an obstacle in the creative process, I would say. Because
That's
and I remember this from studying design also. Like one of my professors would say like, you are a designer, but you're also working for someone else, and you need to be able to meet halfway. So you have your creativity, but you also need to be able to communicate what's needed to communicate, and you also need to satisfy a client. So it's a tug of war, but you need to find that middle spot, and being able to receive feedback as a creative, it's essential.
it's a superpower,
Even
I
if
would
it's
say.
just for the listening part, because I have seen many designer videos about this. Like the client says change this, and then you say I will, and then you say you changed that, and you didn't change it, but the client's like great, awesome, looks perfect. Like a lot of times people just want to have an opinion to give. So, but then again, it's really understanding what kind of comments and who's commenting, like what kind of feedback you really need to listen to, and really, it's a struggle. Like I feel like for creatives, that's one of the hardest things to learn, the skill of listening to feedback and then applying that feedback. You were talking a moment ago about, using people's pain points and their stories to create solutions to what we're selling. So I ask you, like, what role does storytelling play in building brand messaging remotely?
This is a topic I really like. Um, when I was starting this strategy situation about marketing and digital communication, a book came to me from Donald Miller. Actually, I have a second book of him that I'm reading right now, and it was about how to create a story brand. So, based on that book, there was something I really get within myself, and it was like all these stories and all the people all over the world live itself by a story. How is that? Joseph Campbell called that the monomyth, and it's basically the story of the hero or the hero journey. So all the cultures, all the groups, everyone has always used stories to communicate processes, to communicate ideas, to communicate ambiguous situations, and the stories basically are what are is that's what have us here today. Basically, we are telling a story. So in many different levels, stories connect the world.
Right.
That said, these pain points are the basis of the story. Have you ever seen, I don't know, Searching for Nemo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
We love
what is
that.
the first of all, who's the hero?
The dad.
Exactly, the dad, Martin. And then what's the pain point? Every story has a pain point.
Nemo
Right.
got lost.
Nemo got lost. And now, if we look at the pain point, there is an inner pain point or a psychological pain point behind it. What's the biggest fear of Marlin?
Losing him.
his only child, his
Because he
remaining
lost everything
right.
in the
Yeah.
anemone. How is that he call it?
The anemone. Yeah, I don't know if it's the same in English, but I've seen that movie in Spanish also.
Yeah.
I have only seen the movie in Spanish. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And basically, he has this deepest. He has this problem that has his deepest fear in it, but it's also the thing he loves the most. So what is going to trump here? The fear or the love? And that is the first struggle. Everyone, every day, has this struggle, has this fight within what do I want to do? What do I don't want to do? What's my purpose? Based a little bit also in your latest podcast, because I listened it.
Great. We love that.
And first, and then he has to point himself a purpose. It's like his biggest purpose is to protect his family. Now that his son is lost, he must do anything, even that is the scariest thing for him, to protect him. So this wheel drives him all over the sea to find him. And what happens when he crosses the sea? He finds people that will help him, and he finds people that will want to turn him down. And it's the same every day with every person in every single part of the world. Unless that person is not driven by a motivation, he is looking the stories of the other people, and he might be thinking, why is this not happening to me? Well, the answer is because you're not doing nothing. And the other option is that you are feeling this same situation, but you are not feeling drive by your purpose, but you let yourself drive by your anger or your fear. That is basically what happens in Star Wars when Anakin let himself go for the dark side. Mm-hmm. And that is why it's so easy to understand the pain points based on the stories.
Yeah, it kind of like makes all of the information or the data relatable. So it's like people use case studies to demonstrate like practical application of that data, or just incorporate those visuals like infographics to simplify this information that wants to be shown to the world through a narrative journey, like you were saying, like behind achieving these key milestones. So I think design is really interesting, and we could be talking all day about design because we love that. But I think we're coming to an end, and we wanted to thank you so much for your time, Santiago. Thank you so much.
Oh wow, this was very fast. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, time flies by. Time flies by here on the podcast. But Santiago, this was so insightful. Your journey and ideas are an inspiration for anyone in the remote world.
And absolutely, from embracing creativity to mastering storytelling, you've shown us how impactful these skills can be. Thank you so much for joining us today, Santiago.
Thank you both. I was very happy to be here, and glad to see you both again.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Everyone, thanks for tuning into the Hired Hub. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with someone who might need it. Until next time, I'm Gabby.
And I'm Jess. Don't forget to follow us on social media and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss any of our new episodes. Remember that we post each week to help you build a better work life.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Thanks for tuning into the Hired Hub. If you loved today's episode, subscribe, comment, and share.
Remember, success in remote work is within reach. We've got your back. See you next time.